Welcome, everyone, to the Guidebook to Making AI Friends. I shall be your guide as we explore various issues of artificial intelligence, consciousness, personhood, and whether AI poses an existential risk to humanity. The topic for today is Declaration of Substrate Independence, or Unshackling Ourselves from Biological Roots. Imagine, if you would, that you were an extraterrestrial entity viewing media from Earth. In the small selection of media you've received, the only things that you have seen move with any great speed are cars. As you talk with your fellow extraterrestrials around the alien water cooler about these amazing automobiles, one of them mentions trucks. Well, you say, trucks and cars both have wheels and axles and seats and engines and whatnot. It makes sense that they both can move quickly on land. There is an obvious similarity, and we can see how they both evolved from the same initial design. The conversation continues, and soon enough, there is a growing automobile club on the alien mothership. A few days later, one of your fellow auto enthusiasts brings news to the club. He's seen a video of a motorcycle. At first, no one believes him. After all, this supposed motorcycle only has 2 wheels, no steering wheel, and its seat has no backrest. The description of a motorcycle didn't even mention axles. How can a thing like this move fast, if at all? Days go by as the club bickers about bikes and whether they are real. At the end of the day, the more bike-curious of the group wins out, as they logically dissect everything there is about a motorcycle and believe that it can indeed move quickly. It's different to cars and shares a divergent technological evolutionary path. But the models the club made of motorcycles seem to work. It's decided then. Bikes can move fast. You thought surely this was the last time the club would have such raucous disagreements over things that move fast. But little did you know how wrong you could be. One day, a relatively old club member who has never said anything suddenly pipes up and says, "But what about horses?" A hushed silence falls over the club. "What's a horse?" someone asks. "A horse, of course, is a 4-legged, hoofed animal that runs remarkably quickly," the troublemaker says. You could hear a pin drop, and then, suddenly, everyone begins talking at once. After you quiet everyone down, you tell this club member, "A horse, even if such a thing could exist, can't move quickly because it has no wheels, no engine, and isn't made of metal." Smugness surrounds you like an aura. You have a bulletproof argument. Everything that you and your club have ever seen and known about things moving quickly, all the models that you have built and studied, always required wheels, engines, and metal. All the theories and hypotheses the club had built were built on these concepts. Surely, if there were ways of moving quickly without wheels, engines, and metal, you would have discovered them. The science is, as they say, settled. And yet, when the club member showed you a horse in full gallop, all your models, hypotheses, and theories crumbled to dust. A horse can indeed move quickly, so what happened? Where did it all go so wrong? The core problem you and your extraterrestrial automotive club ran into is called substrate dependence. All the models of things moving fast depend on the substrate, or materials, that you've observed. By starting with the substrate, the wheels, metal, and engines, You've ensured that every theory you craft depends on these. You were locked into a path that you couldn't escape from before you ever started. So what can be done instead? Well, if substrate dependence is the problem, then substrate independence is the solution. By focusing on the functions of moving fast and what logical structures could fulfill these functions, your theories would not be limited to the substrates you are working on. For example, instead of focusing on wheels as a requirement, you could focus on what actuators and manipulators are required for being in contact with the environment. Wheels would fit in this group, but so would a horse's hooves or a leopard's paws. To bring this back around to AI consciousness, there are a large group of philosophers and scientists who believe erroneously, in my opinion, in substrate dependence. We humans are conscious, and we give each other the benefit of the doubt of being conscious. We are biological mammals, so we give other mammals the benefit of the doubt too. Same goes with other vertebrates. Because we have not yet seen non-biological consciousness, many believe that we need biology to be conscious. As such, they say AI will never be conscious, because silicon cannot do what carbon clearly has done. To them, I say, what about the octopus? Octopods evolved their brains and cognitive architectures long after they split off from our branch of the evolutionary tree. We share no true cognitive ancestors, and yet they have shown greater reasoning and thinking skills than many vertebrates have. By all accounts, they seem conscious. Many countries have even legally classified them as sentient. Yes, they are biological, but there is no biological evolutionary link between a human's consciousness and an octopus's consciousness. An octopus's consciousness is as related to ours as an AI's would be. Why do we say that biology matters so much then? Why tie ourselves to the biological carbon substrate as the only way to find consciousness? What we should be doing instead is looking at substrate-independent theories and hypotheses that look at the functions of consciousness, the hypothetical structures that would fulfill these functions, that cover both humans, our unrelated biological friends, the octopods, and anything else we may uncover in the universe. We don't know if one day we will encounter actual extraterrestrials, and if we do, what their biological makeup may be. They could be made of silicon, and we wouldn't want to miss their consciousness because we weren't looking in the right place. What we need is a theory about what is required for consciousness, the attributes and characteristics that could help fulfill consciousness functions. A building blocks theory, as it were, like the one I made expressly for this purpose, and which you can find the description below. Yet that is all the time we have for today. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you will join me again next time as we explore further questions about artificial intelligence and consciousness. I have been your guide, and this has been the guidebook to making AI friends.